You better run. If I'm holding the door for you, you better run. Anyway, border dispute is here. Viper is going to try and take some boars from Villese. He's going to try and stall this one out. And he'll be taking 2 of his own. Remember, Hera ended up losing a villager on this yesterday against Doubt. And, oh, man, that was close. Oh, was that ever close on that villager. 1 frame away from death. Viper will get the boars under his TC. And he'll be keeping this one penned in. But that boar just walks right past. He's got to be careful, though. Because he'll just accidentally kill it. Usually players want to keep the boar hanging around and not kill it immediately so it doesn't rot away and they lose some food. Villese doesn't really care about that. He's going to be opening here with the Lithuanians, and that means that he has more food in the bank, which means he could put the villagers on the wood earlier, which means he could go for the dock much earlier than his opponent. And the dock is here to gather these shorefish that are on the center. However, Viper has his scout at the back of Villese's base, and he's already stealing 2 sheep. Villese will pull in the sheep closer to his TC to prevent more from being stolen. He should have the faster food income, though, because he's got the shorefish. He's got both of the boars. And he actually ended up losing a villager? Where? To what? And why? I didn't hear any. Did anyone see it go down? I guess when he was killing that second boar. She's hidden. Her body is hidden underneath that. He thought he could get away with it again because he survived on 1 HP the first time. But he didn't. Damn, dude. Damn. Unfortunate situation here for Villese. It feels like luring boars shouldn't be that difficult at this level. But it happened to Hera. And now it's happened to Villese as well, as Loom is coming in now with 17 population. And Viper comes forward with the villagers. Loom has just come in, though, so he can't really continue to fight here so close to Villese's TC. Villese will probably send more villagers out to deal with this, as he is going up to feudal age. 17 population. Viper is going to go up 21 population with the Chinese. He did start with 12 villagers as opposed to 9 because of the Chinese. And he's likely to go for a dock here as well, or is he just collecting the fish and then going home? Might be waiting for the wood for a dock. Villagers are garrisoned. And he's actually going for a barracks. So just a little bit of fish collection. Pushes Villese off the fish at the front. And because of that, Villese's food eco is struggling just a little bit. Damn, dude. That's a rough position. Rough starting game for Villese, especially against Chinese. Like, you know you're already behind economically, and then you lose a villager to a boar. A perfectly preventable death from that villager. And then you get pushed off your food income over here as Viper now comes out for more food, and he sends more villagers to engage. Very difficult situation. Let's see if Villese goes for any water units. He does not. We'll go for an archer range instead. If you go for a demo here, you're getting at least 1 vill, right? You're killing at least 1 villager with a demo. Viper won't have time to react. However, he still has the scout alive, so maybe he believes that he can kill that with his scout. Doesn't even go for it. And sends a spearman forward as well. No demo from Villese. Adding in the mill, sending another villager forward. And Viper will go for the range as well. Skirmisher Spearman is what has become the meta on this map. If you go for scouts, you're unlikely to find value because your opponent will be going for Spearman in defense and Spearman to lame your hunt as well. If you go for archers, they're easily countered by the skirmishers. So it is Skirm Spear opening. And then scouts behind to deal with the excessive skirmishers from your opponent. Skirm Spear should benefit the Lithuanians because their trash is a little bit faster. However, Viper is in a much better economic situation right now than Villese is. And he's going for a fire galley too, which should allow him to control this middle area. Military production from Villese is pretty good so far. And he's killed the scout, and he still has 34 HP left on his. That could be a big deal. Viper is significantly ahead on res collected. And still ahead on amount of villagers, as Villese is forced to get town watched as well. Maybe housed there at 30 population, and he is. But Viper does not have the army numbers that Villese has, and Villese's trash units are faster. Now he's pushing it over here. He should be able to deal with these skirmishers first, and then the spearmen. She goes after the spearmen because he still has his scout alive. I forgot about that. A minute of idle TC time from Viper. Been struggling to keep the food coming in. Only one farm for him. He's going to go back out to the fish, but this opens up the door for pressure from Villese. And Villese is in actually a really decent position here. He's killing all of the skirmishers from Viper. And now he's going to kill the spearman, which means his scout is free to roam around. He's behind on villagers still, but I mean, maybe he could find some value with a demo over on this side. He does have town watch. He can see the vills on this side. Damn, bro. What a great start from Villese already. Beautiful. Considering the villager that died earlier, really, really solid. Why? What is this? That's a consistent 2 villager kill. You're always going to get at least 1. You're probably going to get 2. Can't cook without a fire? I don't know. Damn, bro. Viper not feeling nervous at all about this wood line. Considering it's just skirmishers. He does have fletching advantage. As Villese is trying to pull these skirms out of position with his scout. But he's just lost HP on this scout. And that's a great gate behind from Viper. Can't get away. And suddenly the military advantage is gone. As the fire galley comes out, supported by the spearman. And he's going to have access to this fish once more. And now it's a demo. And now he uncues it. That is the wrong order, my friend. It is demo first, and then fire. Man, that's frustrating. That's the second time we've seen an opportunity for people to get villagers. At least 2. And they've gone for a fire galley. Spearmen get a bonus against ships? They do, yes. Yes, they do. Another stable, or first stable of the game, rather, coming up from Villese. Because of the skirmisher count. Like I said, it's skirm spear into scouts consistently on this map. But Viper still has more villagers. Viper's had the better eco overall, and Viper has more total res collected in this match so far. But Villese has done a pretty solid job at getting his eco up and running behind this. And Viper has had 1 minute and 50 seconds of idle town center. That is the major contributor to why the villager count is so close right now. Viper probably needs to go for a bit more in terms of walls around his base. He has to know that the scouts are likely as a follow-up here. And Villese should actually hide this and try not to show the stable. Viper hasn't seen the stable, but he sees another scout. Gives him all the information he needs. Villese's skirmishers are faster than Viper's, so he should be able to catch up to him, and the scout is going to be within minimum range. It's going to be clearing up the skirms, and Viper is losing all of his army presence. Great recovery from Villese, and Viper is going for fire galleys of his own to keep presence on the water here. Villese still has the spearman, though. He could send the spearman over to help the fire. He's actually repairing behind with a villager. 39 villagers for Viper, 38 villagers for Villese. He's mixing in some idle TC time now. And he's repairing the fire. But Viper is coming forward with 3 vills to repair as well. Demo. demo! Please! Imagine! Villager is tanking the fire damage. Needs to be careful with that. Needs to get him behind the fire galley. Villese loses the Vill. He loses the Villager. He's also losing skirmishers on this side. Viper doing a great job repairing. But when you start repairing, you become susceptible to demo shots on your villagers. And Villese has one behind that fire galley. The map control battle has now shifted onto the water of all things as Viper now starts adding in demos. Viper will be going for a market behind, and Viper will be in a position to click up to Castle Age shortly. Villese won't be that far behind him. He's actually got a decent farm eco set up. And I think he's going to be... No, they're both going to have demo out at the same time. Viper only has one repair villager forward, though. Villese has two. Go after the Vill. Don't go after the fire galleys. Go after the Vill. Is this guy even attacking? He's not. He's just being repaired. There we go. Oh, shit. Oh! He gets one. You can sail on this sandy terrain. And that's exactly what happened there. The demo comes in and takes the villager. Meanwhile, no real army pressure on the lands. As the fires are pushing away that skirmisher. And Viper is on the way to the Castle Age. Villese will be joining him shortly. However, it's a big advantage. It's like a 1.5-minute advantage for Viper. And he's gone into a stable. He's getting his farm count up. Does not have horse collar, but neither does his opponent. Can you delete detonate your demo? You can. Okay. 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 He sees it. He sees it. He does see it. And I don't think there's enough time for Viper to run away. Not with this sandy terrain. The demo comes. If the demo comes out and goes right for those vills, they should be dead. But he'll probably go for these ships here. And he clears up one ship with the spearman. He's pushing back the others. Demolition raft on the way for Viper. More fire galleys for Villese. And now he might actually kill a villager that's repairing the ship from Viper. Villager goes down. Eco KD. 4-1 in favor of Viper. In addition to the villager that died to the boar earlier. And those are the demos we wanted to see. You didn't have to quite make it that easy for him, Villese, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Monastery now coming out from Viper. Knight is on the way out. And still not fully walled at the front. It's really hard to wall this with the naval presence. Still not walled at the back either. And this is going to be painful for Villese. These knights raiding back here is going to be brutal. Knight does manage to take out the spearman. Could also take the hill advantage on this spearman and win that fight. But he goes after villagers instead. And he sends another knight on the other side, takes out the spearman, and can get into the wood line and add another town center of his own. As Villese comes out here with a scout, which could kill a villager, but I think Viper just kills this with vills or walls it in or something. And yeah, he's going to deal with that just fine. Knight pushing the knights away. Villese with the quick walls. Beautiful. 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 Amazing. Not easy to do. Fantastic from him. Also gets a knight over here. Or sorry, gets a villager over here with the knight. And gets a second villager with the knight. Good damage on the side. He's trying to pick away. He's trying to even out this economy any way he can. And he's actually driving the knights away at home too. Does have town watch. He can see these vills. He can see them, but he decides not to go for them with the knights. He's going back this way. There's a monk there. Maybe it's time to look at these a little bit. Monastery. coming in from Villese. And he sends a knight to the center. And that should be at least one dead villager. Unless Viper can block with the fire galley, that should be at least one, if not two. She even moonwalked as she looked back at the knight. And that's another dead vill. Right? Surely. Huh? She's safe. Over on this side, Viper, on a random relic mission, will be healing up his forward knights. He also has stone back here, which is fairly exposed. Villese will find the monk here. And that will warn Viper that there is indeed a threat back here, as he also has a knight on this side. But the camels from Viper should be able to deal with this. The TC over here should be able to deal with the raids in the north. And Viper's eco keeps expanding, although Villese is keeping pace. He's going for a third TC now. He's annoying Viper at home. And so far, he's managed to limit the damage at his own economy. And he notices this stuff right away. Has two of them targeted for conversion. So it might be a situation where Viper needs to delete these knights, actually. I would love to see like a gate here to prevent them from running away. I think Viper just has to delete. How did those conversions not come in? Excuse me? If he had the gate, they would have come in. Excuse me? He doesn't get either one of those? Viper has loyal troops. That must be it. That must be it. That must be it. Third and fourth town center from Viper, and Viper has been picking up these relics and denying them from our Lithuanians player. We already have one relic in from Viper. He's going to come out for this one. This one is basically his in the back of his base. And I think this might be the only one that Villese has access to. But if I know Viper, he's thinking about controlling that and then sneaking a monk over for it at some point. And Sanctity is on the way in. As he heals up the camels. Tries to get the conversion on the knight. If he gets a conversion on the knight, he can win this fight easily. But he doesn't get it. Vilese's troops are loyal as well. And that camel should be deleted here, I think. Once it gets the monk. Nope. That camel's putting in work. Delete it. Delete it. Delete it. Doesn't happen. Knights still roaming around. Could make their way into the gold. Viper has to be concerned about that. He should be able to notice that fairly quickly, though. And he does. And he's not even going to lose a vill here. Nope. Knights go down. However, at the back, 3 more villagers dying. As the monks are unable to get the conversions back here once again. And the knights from Villese continue to not get any damage on the economy from Viper. 80 villagers for Viper. 69 villagers for Villese. They micro like 1,200 players this game. Okay. Okay, buddy. Oh no, where are you going? Why'd you turn back? He just had to investigate a little further, didn't he? Where was that monk going? What on earth? Villese really struggling to keep track of all these little raiding armies he has. Viper playing conservative. No walls. But his TCs are set up on all his valuable resources. And he's got units in defense. He doesn't have that much pressure going forward to raid. Most of his army is always at home, stopping the knight pressure from Villese. And now he's getting a castle. And he's still dealing with the monks on this side. 3 relics could be trouble for Viper. Well, I don't think Villese is going to get this one, but he will get this one. Presumably. Villese made another dock. He either repaired that dock that was on like 200 HP, or he made another one to keep up the pressure here. That kind of denies people It denies Viper from going for a castle right here, right? It's really tough to go for a castle if there's dock potential. He's really ahead in Vils. Viper's winning. Yep. Yeah, he's in a winning position right now. But Villese is not out of the game completely. He almost has enough stone for a castle of his own. And he's likely going to click up to Imperial Age first. Solid farming eco from him as well. 38 farms placed. Viper, if we zoom out here, 39 farms placed. And Villese is going into the pikeman research. Where is this castle going to be? Is the question. So he snags another relic. Another TC for him. 5 TC play. 4 TC play only for Viper, but he's already significantly ahead in villagers and 4K ahead in total res collected. Is Chukanu good here? It can be, right? Until your opponent gets into skirm with tower shields. Can be really good. I mean, Chukanu is just generally really good for Chinese either way. Especially if you have castles to sit under. And there's the forward castle from Viper. Castle goes up back here from Villese. And he's on the way to Imperial Age. Once that villager is... There we go. Archer range is being added. Knows what he needs to do. Needs to go skirm held probably against Chinese. He's got the pikeman research already in, but he does not have any techs for his skirmishers really. Not even fletching. So this is going to be a long and arduous tech switch for Villese, and especially with Viper running around with light cav. It's going to be quite annoying. However, he's not the only player that can run around with light cav. Raids coming in at the back here. $38 on food for Viper. $35 on food for Villese. And Viper clicks up to Imperial Age. He will be a little over a minute later to Imperial Age than his opponent. But he does have this forward position, which is gonna buy him a ton of time. And he also has the Chukanu forward here. And that's the monastery with the 2 relics inside. Villese should add more blacksmiths. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. We kind of saw Delka punish with that yesterday, right? He was trying to make tech switches, and he had all the techs in the queue rather than having multiple blacksmiths. But luckily for Villese, fletching and bodkin arrow come in pretty quickly. He still needs to get the additional armor. Ballistics is coming in as well. He does have elite skirm, and he's starting to mass them up, but still taking damage at the edges here, and Viper is not messing around at all. Viper is not messing around at all. Looks like he's going to go for a Siege Ram Chukanu light cav approach. And unless Villese has copious amounts of halbs or latest, I think this is going to be really, really difficult for him to deal with. The eco behind this is beautiful from Viper. 132 villagers. Basically just missing handcart right now in terms of upgrades. But let's say it's full feudal eco upgrades on this side. And he's running out of space. He's not only running out of gold to take or stone to take, but he's going to be running out of wood to take shortly as well. It's Jover. It's pretty close, right? Imperial Age in 10 seconds, then the capped ram upgrade will come in. All the production buildings are going to die from Villese. He's going to lose access to these 2 relics. He needs to produce latest, but he also needs to produce trebs to take out this forward castle. And now conscription, bracer on the way. Chinese cheaper techs are coming into play now. Viper is just going to be in a position to get everything that he wants as Villese tries for a counterattack on the side. Viper will have a castle over here. I guess it's technically on a hill, guys. I guess it's on a plateau. Why? Because he can. Thumbering on the way. Conscription's in. Capped ram is coming in. The relics have been ejected. And Villese only has 2 trebs attacking this castle. And Viper continues to push. Starting TC is going to be completely taken out there, along with the farms in that surrounding area. Can go for some light cap to deal with this raid. Is Viper seeing the last relic? Yeah, he sees it. And the skirmishers are missing the final armor upgrade. He's getting it right now, but he still does not have tower shields. And the economy from Villese is at the limit for almost everything. He's got enough stone for another castle. But he's going to lose this army. Can't really reproduce it. Viper, in classic Viper fashion, sending monks forward, snagging the relics. And Villese calls the GG. I think that was a really good recovery from the start. The build was sick. I want to see what happens if he doesn't lose that villager early. Because he had a lot of good pressure back here. And I feel like if Viper doesn't send those vills forward, and credit to Viper for doing that, to push him off the fish, it feels like a situation where maybe Villese is into that the first stable, and the scout follow up 30 seconds faster? 20 seconds faster? Is that enough to fully clear the skirms and then get some damage done? I don't know. Viper played really consistent here, though. Look at this. 190 population, 138 villagers. Didn't really wall at all. Denied a lot of the relics from the Lithuanians, and he had 10k more res collected. Classic Viper. Why are Viper's emotes grass? Because Tim once told him he would grass his sister. I think it was a bad translation. Yeah. And then it became a meme. Yeah. It was a bad translation. Arena coming in. And we've seen some epic matchups on Arena between the two of these guys. Both top tier Arena players. Viper! It's back, dude! The Britons! The civ he was known for. For so long, Britons have made their way out of the meta. But we are going to see Viper with Britons. T90 and Viper are streaming on Twitch again. We saw Huns on Arabia the other day. We're seeing Britons back in. All is right in the world. Longbows? Maybe, eventually. Probably not, though. Viper has a sister? I don't even think he does. He might. Viper wins with the Chinese. Loss with the Lithuanians. And Jan, thank you for the 10 gifted, bro. Thank you so much, man. Does this mean Viper will win all tournaments again? Hopefully not. Hopefully we keep the nice balanced top player scene that we have right now. Never been more competitive. He does? Oh. She plays CSGO? Oh. Okay. So she's been disowned, or what's going on there? I'm talking to her as we speak. No, you're not. Oh, in Discord. Oh, okay. What is this arena? Hang on a second. Why do we have Savannah Arena? Why are we... What is this desert we have stumbled into? We're playing Britain's Burgundians. What a weird looking generation here. Anyway, Viper playing as the Britons. Villese playing as the Burgundians. And we know what the Burgundians can do on Arena. Britons have classically been one of the stronger Arena civilizations because their late game composition is really, really tough to stop. But the problems they run into are more with the monk play and the fact that they're missing bombard cannons for those fast transitions in Imperial Age. However, they can boom behind very nicely with their TCs, and maybe it's the 9 villager start that's making Viper think that Britons are a lot stronger here. Who knows? I hate the hills and the woods as well. You hate everything, Paradox. Britain-Burgundian War that happened in Saudi Arabia in 1456. Right. Okay.
Sheesh.
Yo, Chief, thank you for the 5 gifted, bro. Appreciate it. You even got Dave645 in there. Another imposter. The 645th. Keep pretending to be me and you'll find out what happened to the first 644. Paradox loves whiskey. Oh, there you go. So do I. We have so much in, me and Paradox have so much in common. If only he wasn't Scottish. Who won Larry Nikoff? What was the set score? We don't talk about that set. There's going to be plenty of talk about that set. We don't need to talk about it any more than we do. Relics on this one. Speaking of that set, we got 2 favoring Villese pretty hard, but these 2 are favoring Viper, and then this one is slightly favoring Viper. So these are pretty free because they're so close. These ones are a little bit more neutral, but they're still favoring him. And then, of course, this one is the most neutral of the bunch. Hi, Dave. Nice to see you cast today. Thanks. Nice to see you here. Thank you. Also, we need to talk about the fact that since it's elephants and not boars, you can actually adapt your build a little bit. We've got extra food on the elephants as opposed to the boars. So players might actually go up a villager earlier. We'll see how they adapt. It's not a consistent spawn where you get elephants. At least I don't think so. I think it's mostly just boars, right? There's no way to know going in whether you're going to get the extra food on the hunt. Viper? He's adding farms. He's not... he doesn't believe in it. He's mesmerized by the tail, and he's going to lure it in here with the scout. He already lured in one. Chief! Thank you for the 25, dude. What the hell? That's 30 on the day. Thank you, my dude. Oh, my God. My man is crazy. Big fan of luring in the elephant with the scout. We saw that from Vinchester earlier, and Viper's going to have to hang out with the scout inside of this base now. He does not... God, this map is so ugly on the eyes. Ugh, especially with yellow. He does not want to come on out here. Animal facts with Dave AoE. Did you know boars are not elephants? They're very similar. Chief, thank you so much, dude. Holy, you're crazy. You guys get gifted a sub, which has been happening a lot recently. Make sure you thank the gifter. They're very generous people that keep me doing what I'm doing. Appreciate it. Corner check. That's actually a very satisfying corner. That one's cool. That one's cool as well. All right. 27 pop up. Is Viper going for the... Okay, he's going for the stable approach. Okay. I didn't notice the barracks initially. He's going for the light cav approach with the Britons. The good thing about going for light cav with Britons is that their TCs are cheaper, which means you can drop those TCs behind it a little bit faster than your opponent if they also go for light cav as well, which is what I would expect from Villese. And yeah, he's going to make a stable right here. Stable market. Viper will go stable... market as well, or is it going to be stable blacksmith from him? Stable market. Okay. Personally, I like stable market, but I know there's some arena players that prefer stable blacksmith because that gives you access to the siege workshop.
Any plans for today besides though?
Follow up, and it also gives you access to the upgrades, but usually when you're fighting with light cav, you're not getting the upgrades in the Castle Age. And that market helps you balance your eco a little bit better. Major appliance. Any plans for today besides AoE? I will eat some food at some point. Yeah. That's about it. I think these sets are going to run pretty late, right? I've already been streaming for 4 hours, and we have another set after this. Cupid, thank you for the gift sub to Mangadai. That's a good gifter. Oh, not great from Villese, but how? How? Huh? Huh? $40 HP. Spearman misses both shots on that scout. Maybe Viper clicking too much. He clicked away. So the animation happened, but the damage didn't come in because he was trying to micro too hard. I think if that was Doubt there, Doubt gets at least one of those hits because he's not clicking away that quickly. Viper may be punished for being a little bit too fast. You micro too good, yep. And now Villese is still running around with his scouts, getting the light cav upgrade. Viper is about to get to Castle Age. And you can see the res collected is very, very similar, despite the fact that Villese has those eco upgrades earlier. Viper had a really solid build. He did the little things like sending the scout in to lure that boar. And he's still got his scout, I think, at home, the weak one, waiting for the heals. He also had faster collection on the goats, which adds up a little bit. But overall, Villese is still ahead on res collected. As Viper goes for the second TC, Villese the same thing. And Viper should be placing a third TC any second now. Might even be up here. Let's see. Cupid, thank you for the gift sub to Tato as well. 2 good gifters in a row. Okay, Viper keeping the forward pressure. He's trying to stop these monks from coming out here and getting this relic. I think this relic is about as free as it gets, though. And Villese is going to bring this guy back. He'll also get this one, too. And Burgundian relics, we saw them in full effect earlier for Leary. Boys are being healed up behind. They bring in food and gold. So whatever value you see over here from the relic generation, you can also attribute that value to the food collected. So far it's 7 gold. But it's going to be that equivalent in food as well. As Viper splits away his like Gavin. He's trying to get this monk, and Villese is trying to get home. He's going to get home in time. 6 light cap for Viper. Only 4 light cap for Villese. As Viper now goes for the third TC. Slightly faster than his opponent. Res collected, still very similar. But Villese is starting to pull ahead. Horse collar, or sorry, heavy plow is helping. And the relic generation is helping as well. Would it ever make sense to replace walls with monasteries? Not really, no. Okay, light cap coming in, and Viper gets it. And Viper's going to get all 3 of the monks. Great engagement there, and Villese is unable to clear up even 1 light cav on this side. He does get 1 on the left side, and he's still chasing after it, but Viper's now going to body block with the rest of his units. However, didn't look at the HP on all of those guys, and also comes back with this one. Good snipes on the monks, but not the greatest follow-up there from Viper. As he loses a few of his light cap. Still, there's very few monks on the field here from Villese. So I don't know how much the light cap numbers matter. Is Viper going to get this conversion? No. Villese does a little drive-by on the side, but he actually ends up losing both light cav over there. He did get the actually conversion on that, right? Yeah, he did. Farm count. 23 farms for Villese. 28 farms for Viper. He saved a little bit of wood on the TCs. That's probably like 4 farms worth of wood that he saved. It adds up, which means you can keep the villagers producing, although he's not doing that right now. He's kind of idling his TCs quite a bit as he goes for wheelbarrow. And collects a 3rd relic. So all of the relics are collected. Viper contesting really solidly here with the Britons. He's going to get 3 of the relics. Villese is going to get 2. I think both players should be fairly happy with that. You don't really need a huge relic advantage with Burgundians. It would be nice, but you're probably fairly content with only getting 2 here. How did Viper manage to get 3 relics here? Well, one of them was here, one of them was there, and one of them was over here, right? So as long as he keeps the forward pressure with his light cav and keeps sniping monks, and we saw that one engagement where he sniped 3, he should be in a position to grab those relics behind. Also, he's done a really good job being conservative with his monks and healing up his light cav at every opportunity. Is the difference between vills on farms at the top and farms placed that big? Well, if a villager is building a farm, it won't show up at the top, right? So that's why I looked at farms placed. Also, if there's any other food sources, which there aren't right now, that impacts it. So right now it's the same. It's 31 and 31. And it's the same over here for Viper. Nope. It is now because he completed those farms. But it's not registered as a food villager until the farms are completed. So that's why I look at the amount of farms placed. Oh! Spearman opens the gate, but doesn't manage to take out this monk. That man survives from behind, and now Villese is coming out. Viper will get a conversion somehow. But Villese manages to snipe all of the monks from Viper, and he's getting Loom, and he's on the way up to Imperial Age. Viper thinking about Imperial Age himself, but he doesn't really have the gold. He'll need to get more villagers on gold for sure. Going for University. Castle, not too aggressive of a position. Still only 3 villagers on gold, folks. 85 villagers for Villese. Viper is at 88. 1k res ahead for the Finn. And Cavalier is already coming in. Viper will need to open help. And then he's going to have to add in some range units behind to deal with the hand cannons from his opponent. But if Villese takes those timings, right, if he has enough paladins immediately upon reaching Imperial Age, or like a minute and a half after that, once the research comes in, he could overwhelm Viper. And Viper is already adding in the barracks. You could open ranges to preemptively deal with the hand cannons, but then if you open ranges and he does indeed open with Paladin, you're going to get cooked. So you always have to open help here from Viper and then go into the range units after. Is this a new type of arena, or were there always hills in the corners? This is the new one. Hills in the corners is very rare, and it feels like it's never really going to come into play unless we get a super long game. Okay. Viper, still a minute and 20 seconds away from Imperial Age. Vilese's Paladin upgrade is discounted, but he still doesn't have enough food for it. Coming forward with the Cavalier, and it will be confirmed to Viper that it is a Paladin opening here from Villese, and he's going to get some good damage against those pikemen, but decides to retreat. Still waiting for Paladin. And there it is. Paladin upgrade. 2 minutes and 50 seconds it takes for that upgrade to come in. He's going to have to make sure he has Trebs behind this and an overwhelming amount of cavalry. If he has enough cavalry, he can overwhelm the Halberdiers and take out the castle with the Trebs behind before all of his Paladin die. They will eventually die. It's just, can you get a good enough map position while you sacrifice their lives? That's the question. Warwolf immediately from Viper. Oh my goodness. And he's going for defensive castles. So he's getting Warwolf before this castle dies. He's probably already given up hope on that thing. And Halberdier is coming in as well. Chemistry is in from Villese. He can go for hand cannons now if he wants to, but he doesn't have any archer ranges yet. He's all in on the Paladin. He's going for a siege workshop for bombard cannons. And he's producing trebuchets. But Viper is already playing defensively. Sneaking out to this gold over here as well. He's got an outpost near this gold too. He's already given up this castle, it feels like. He's coming out to repair this? Really? Wow. Now architecture as well? All right. It felt like he was going to give this up, but he's not. He's going to defend it. Let's hope he can buy enough stone to keep this thing alive. 0 stone now from Viper. 160 population. If he loses that castle, he's going to be Omega House. And he's not making any houses behind this. My man needs to make houses now. Stat. However, he does have Warwolf on this Treb, and Villese is going to have to out-repair the damage on that as Viper buys some extra stone. Still housed. Bombard cannons coming out for these trebuchets. Warwolf actually makes Trebs worse against bombard cannons in a weird sense, because they always hit their target. So if you move away from the trebuchet shot, which is fairly easy, you will always dodge it. And the castle goes down from Viper. And he's super housed. He is super housed, and the Paladin number is still strong from Villese. Pushing out with bombard cannons with Trebs now. Viper, where is the stone from him? It's over here, and it's over here. And that could be the killer for Viper. That could absolutely be the killer. He needs that stone. The most powerful units he's going to make is going to be from his castles. All of the technology is now coming in for Villese. Hand cannons being mixed in. Bombard cannons taking out the university here from Viper. Love that Villese got Bodkin for the castles. Yeah, that's actually a really nice touch. Could come into play later when he wants to go into skirmishers too. And he's still killing houses from Viper, and Viper has been housed forever. He's at 170 pop. He's got 40 halberdiers. But if the halbs come in near the castles in these hand cannons, they're going to get shredded. Also, nice little touch here from Villese. Herbal medicine coming in, and he's got all of his paladins healing inside that castle. Also has paladins raiding on this side. Goes for a castle in between the two golds. Viper will need to retreat. And it's a slow burn for Viper as he tries to slowly make his way out here. But he's still housed. Villese should be like, man, he's building a lot of houses. I should just kill those. That seems like a good plan. My man has been housed for an eternity. He's trying to now quick wall in Paladin, but they're into the back of his base, further distracting him. 182 pop for Viper. So even though he's been housed for a very long time, he has managed to get the halberdier number up. We'll see what he can do with that. Architecture now even on the way for Villese. Try and save his buildings. Hand cannons are working away on the halberdiers. Crossbows, though, sniping the hand cannons from behind, and the paladins need to retreat. Viper is using the last of his stone that he just bought to repair that castle. The halberdier number is still strong for Viper, but it's dropping extremely quickly, concerningly quickly. And once the halbs are gone, the paladin can just dance all around these crossbows and come in for the trebuchet snipes. Quick wall attempt here from Viper. The crossbow's blocking it. And the treb will go down. And might be able to get another trebuchet over here. Is he able to repair that? No. Might be able to get even a third trebuchet with the paladin. The halberdiers seem lost behind this. They can't catch up. And a third treb goes down. And more paladin are coming in. Hand cannons clearing up all of the halberdiers. KD is 133 for Villese to 50 for Viper. And Viper still has no stone access over here or over here. He's running out of gold. Doesn't have enough halbs. Only 160 population. And this is just... It feels like an unstoppable wave of military here from Villese. Crossbows aren't going to get the job done against the paladin. And now the crossbows are all sitting in this choke point with bomber cannons behind. It's a brutal situation to be in. Also over here, Viper trying to expand a little bit. He's looking for room to build buildings. Villese doing the right thing, sending paladins into the back of the eco, being distracting. I think the only thing I would love to see from Villese here is more treks. To continue working away on the buildings. Also more units in the queue, right? Currently only has paladin, and he's going to try and come in here and snipe this treb, and he will take it out. More paladins coming into the back. This paladin's doing damage. These ones were cleared up on the side, but Viper calls the GG, and that's just a great performance from Villese. Viper had stone positions that were not favorable for him, but he needed to play around that, right? He's trying to keep his castle alive over here. He couldn't. And then once he couldn't get stone, he couldn't mass up the amount of trebs he wanted. And he could never push him back. So the Britain pick did not work out at the end of the day. Burgundians taking the victory, and that's a solid KD. 2.92. A little bit better on the economy portion. A little bit more relic gold generated here for Viper. And it was just a faster push from Villese. Early bomber cannon won the game. Yep, against the trebs. Cleared it up, right? Also getting 3 treb snipes here basically sealed the deal. Probably already lost from that position, but definitely that was the nail in the coffin for sure. Damn, dude. Age of Empires 2 popping off right now on Twitch. 15K viewers? Let's go, bro. Thanks for being here, everyone. Romans Land Madness? That's what I think. I think it's going to be Romans. And I think the way Viper should play it... Chief! Dude! Enjoy? I will enjoy. You know what? In honor of you, I'm going to get something really nice for dinner. I'm already thinking about it, dude. I'm thinking about the food I'm going to eat after the stream. I'm thinking about it. Where is it? Britain's loss? Burgundians win. Thank you so much, dude. That's incredible. You're super generous. Thank you. Oh, big gamma there. Over 1 million points on that one. Perfect. As we see Gold Rush coming in. Anyway, like I was saying, he should be playing Romans the way Yo plays Romans on Land Madness. At least that's my opinion. Just go into Scouts and then go into Knights. And your Spearmen, you can get the upgrades for them in Feudal Age. The armor upgrade, it'll count twice, which means it's a really, really effective composition. However, Tato also played them very well against Viper when he went for the forward Scorpion push against the Cav Archers in Warlords Waiting Room. We go into Gold Rush here. Viper has Bohemians and Villese has Chinese. Viper's already gotten a win with Chinese. And once again, we'll see a 12 villager start with this Civ and the eco being really, really solid early. We'll see how they match up against Bohemians later on in the game, especially if Viper decides to go for Hussite Wagon, which seems very popular nowadays. It's incredible. It went from one of the worst units in the game to one of the most popular units in the game. Chinese Miss Redemption? Exactly. But this is a map where you can kind of wall up and prevent the Hussites from running all over your base, and you can go into Knights or Light Cav or something, and melee units do fairly well against Hussite Wagons because they have no pierce or no melee armor at all. Jan, thank you for the gift sub to Chief. He wasn't even subbed himself. 50 gifted or 55 gifted. Wasn't even subbed himself. What a Chad. What'd you say to me? Okay, so Viper's eco is going to be behind Villese's at the start. Villese with 8 seconds of idle TC time, but you can see he's already got more res collected because of Chinese and the 3 extra villagers. So coming out here to lame the Rhino, lure the Rhino, not lame it. And he's going to be fine. Let's take a look at the map. 2 relics for each. Actually, very fair generation. I wonder if the relics always spawn in the corners here. Seems like it, right? Speaking of corners, that's a decent one. That is underwhelming. That is a good corner. I think that's a good corner. It's not S tier, but it's like A- corner, especially with the bird. The bird makes the A. And then this one is also a great corner as well. This might be an A tier corner. I think the south corner is the best. Yep. Top corner is the best? No. Ew. How dare you dispute it being S tier? Listen, man. We all have our opinions. Mine is just correct. Bottom corner is the perfect size rock formation. Really? Okay. David's just all about the size of your rock. True. Houses coming up from Villese. Stone is in an unfortunate position here for him, but it's also in an unfortunate position for Viper. So this map is very balanced. Both players have a gold that's pretty far back here. Well, actually, Villese is going to have to do some work to secure his. Viper's gold is pretty good with just a couple houses here. But it's a fairly balanced map generation for both. Feudal Age on the way for both. Villese goes up with 21 population. Viper goes up with 19. You can see he's still ahead by about 200 total res collected. So Chinese already coming into play as Viper goes for the barracks. He will likely go for the... Does he go for a stable here with Bohemians? Probably, right? This feels weird. It's going to be a barracks stable for Villese. Very common approach. Oh, might be archer range, actually. He's on gold. Barracks archery range. And I think he attempted to do this strat last time he played this map, right? Who was he matching up against? Who was Villese up against in his last matchup? It was Jordan, right? Yeah, it was Jordan, and he was playing against Poles, and he actually did win. And he opened archers. That's right. He went for full walls. He opened archers. I believe he was playing the Chinese as well. And he was just slowly massing archers, and then eventually when he got up to Castle Age, a little bit before Jordan, who was playing as the Poles, he had enough archers to control the center area here and go for a forward siege workshop. And Jordan could just never recover from it. Viper should be aware of it then. Yeah, I mean, as soon as you scout the archer range, you know what's going on, right? And he should bring his scout forward, and he has seen the range, so he knows exactly what's happening. Kind of similar map situation here for Viper that Jordan had, where he can wall all the way to the corner. However, far less res available to him than Jordan had in his game. He is going to manage to get the wall up, though, as Villese comes over with one archer and one spearman, deftly avoiding the lions in the center, and continues to queue archers behind as he gets his eco upgrades and starts dropping some farms. He'll opt for fletching first before horse collar, which is interesting. I don't think he's going to be able to get much damage here, but maybe he saw that the wall was still open over here. So he thinks he can come forward and find some damage. Running to that lion was actually quite unfortunate. And now he's running into more lions. Oh my goodness. That's actually kind of brutal. Would love to see horse collar coming in here for Villese before these farms go up. But he's going to end up putting down the first cycle of farms before getting that. Not the worst thing in the world with Chinese. You still get more food on them. And as long as you get it before the second round, it should be okay. My man is just killing lions. He just got fletching to deal with lions at this point. Fletching has not benefited him at all as of yet, as Viper just now goes for the range and defense. Viper went up to Feudal Age, made a spearman, got his eco upgrades, and now he's going for a range. Did not utilize that fast feudal for anything else. Playing aggressive with Chinese? Yep. I mean, he still has the full walls, right? It's not a full YOLO. He should be up a little bit later than Viper, but it won't be that much later. And he is disrupting Viper's eco. And he's taking full map control. He's trying to hold him into this side. What is Viper thinking about? I don't know. I wonder if he's going to go out to stone. I wonder if he's going to go for that castle. Stone position, once again, for the main stone is really rough. So he'll need to go for this one, which he's only walled to. Which tells me that that's likely not his initial plan. He's thinking about a big old BLT. Like a sandwich? What else could BLT stand for? Don't answer that question. Castle Age on the way. Blacksmith is now up from Viper. Greetings from Brazil, my dude. Cheers. Brazil! I haven't said that in a while. Greetings, bro. We haven't done that one in a while. 7-1, too soon, bro. It's absolutely too soon. Castle Age now on the way for Villese, and this looks eerily familiar to the game he had against Jordan. The only exception being that he was up to the Castle Age before Jordan was. But still, Viper is going to be running into problems here because Villese's eco behind this is really solid, right? And he's going to have a decent amount of crossbows. The archer range has basically been producing the entire time. 99.5% all-time efficiency on the... Oh my Jesus. That is rare. This man is a machine. I don't think I've ever seen that. Not after like 5 minutes. That's really, really nice from Villese. That's great production. Archer factory. Literally. Production line has never stopped. As Viper goes for a TC over here on the stone. Okay. Hussite wagons could be a play, guys. They have 8 pierce armor. Crossbows fully upgraded, have 7 attack in the Castle Age. That's 1 damage per. But we have bloodlines coming in for Villese, and he's going to mix in some knights, and he's going to send a villager forward for a siege workshop. And this is just very solid play from him. Crossbowman coming in. And the only reason this archer range lost some efficiency is because he was waiting for Castle Age so he could click crossbowman. There was a slight discrepancy on his last archer produced, and then the crossbowman tech coming in. It's still at 98.5% efficiency, though. That range is putting in work. And there's the siege workshop. Knights are coming out to help with the walls. Viper just skirmishers in defense. Goes for another TC. Now, Viper can go for Fervor to make his villagers a little bit faster, along with his monks. He can also go for Redemption to convert the siege that he probably knows is going to be the follow-up here. But Villese is all over him. Sniping the skirmishers over here. Pushing the villagers away from the wood line. Able to range some of the vills on the gold as well. And now the mangonels are coming out, and Viper's going to have to save all of his gold for Redemption. Converting just a couple crossbows isn't going to help him all that much. Doesn't have Elite Skirm yet. Going for a Scorpion now. And it's only a matter of time before he gets overwhelmed by this pressure, it feels like. Also, Villese already has a second town center. Disgusting. 40 seconds of idle TC time for him. Archer range. Still at 90% efficiency on production. And Light Cav is now on the way. Once he busts through here, he can send the Light Cav in to deal with the monks. And Viper is now in a position where he has to think about where the optimal castle spot would be. Do you need a castle to defend yourself here? Do you want to sneak out and try and get a castle over here? That's a big risk. Do you want to go for a castle over here to take back your gold? A lot of questions for Viper on this one. He's only ahead by 1 villager. But he does have Wheelbarrow. 9 on food for Viper, 15 on food for Villese, and now Wheelbarrow is coming in. And Villese is going for a 3rd TC. You think Viper relied too heavily on his stone to pick Bohemians here? Well, I mean, if he did, he kind of walled weirdly for that, right? He's on the stone over here, and he has enough gold to buy himself 100 extra stone. It's just, where do you want that castle to go? He's bought the stone, and he's going for a castle in the center. He also re-walled behind this, so the crossbows can't get in anymore. But... No! No! Don't shoot your own crossbows, bro! And now they're super weak for the Scorpion. Oh, this could have been so different. It could have been so different. Now Villese has to leave because his crossbows are so weak. Never mind, he's coming back in. Gonna try and take out this Scorpion. Can't really dive near the TC with these crossbows. The Mangonel is trying to make its way through that gap into Viper's base as Viper tries to get an attack round, and 2 crossbows go down because he accidentally shot them with the Mangonel earlier. Oh man, he was playing so well. There was no mistakes whatsoever. And the castle will go up for Viper. 60 villagers for Villese. 61 villagers for Viper, and here come the farms, ladies and gentlemen. 29 farms placed for Viper as he gets now heavy plow and the 2nd wood upgrade. Villese, 30. It's quite a bit of one-upmanship going on in this set. Villese has more farms placed at the end of the day, and the Hussite wagons are on the way from Viper. One-upmanship? Yes, that is a phrase. That is a phrase. You might not think so, but it is. Nice split there. Take a look at the range. What's the efficiency now? 78. Slipping. Slipping, guys. Mangonels do not do as great against Hussite wagons as they once did. And Villese is forced to keep this army a little bit further back. Hussite wagons are a threat. And they're getting some really decent damage against the crossbows. Mangonel over here takes out the Scorpion. It's going to run into the TC, though. And the Siege Workshop has been stalled out here by the presence of the Hussite wagons. Villese is on stone, though, and he's thinking about a castle. However, Viper has redemption on the way. And he lost the Mangonel to the TC over here, Villese. The castle, I don't think you could justify putting it in the middle. Unless you manage to hold Viper's army in this position somehow. I think it's going to be really, really tough to get that castle in the middle. But he does take out the Mangonel from Viper, and he takes out both the monks from Viper. Also removes that Scorpion, so maybe he can justify it now. Those Hussite wagons can't push forward alone. Not against the Light Cav and the Knights. The crossbows aren't doing much damage, but the Light Cav and the Knights are. As another villager dies on the side. Mangonel is still alive. And Villese looks like he's almost in a position to click up to the Imperial Age. Viper, same thing. Viper with the same res in the bank almost. So he had to buy some wood. I wonder what that wood was for. Monastery. Okay. Hussite wagons running away. Imperial Age is on the way for Villese. Mangonel is being converted, though, and then it gets sniped down by the Hussite wagons, or maybe that was a delete. I'm not sure. However, Light Cav are here, and the Light Cav can come right in for that monk. Then they can switch their attention to the Hussite wagons. He's going to need to get the armor, though. That's very important. Matching up against this unit. It does have 11 pierce attack. And that was Wagenberg tactics there from Viper, which will make his gunpowder units faster, which includes these Hussite wagons. He's also repairing with a villager. Takes a long time to repair these things back to full health, though. Handcart is in from Viper. Handcart's still missing from Villese. And he will spot all of these villagers coming out to the side. And look at these vills zoom from Viper. Look at how it looks comical how fast they're moving. Fervor, handcart, and wheelbarrow. All in. Also has more villagers. So the resources collected will soon swing into Viper's favor. But he doesn't have the better position on the middle. That belongs to Villese. Great quick walls here from Viper to save that monk. And he manages to get the conversion on the Light Cav. +2 armor on the way from Villese. And he loves this. He likes this corner too, guys. I mean, it's definitely a preference thing, but he's a big fan of this corner as well. This unit is trash? You're saying that the Hussite wagons are trash? Okay. Ooh, big moment. He wasn't able to deny the castle earlier, but Villese's coming in, and he's going for a castle of his own, and the second castle from Viper is going to be delayed, if not denied on this side. Crossbows are looping over. Doubt, is this you? He is a member of Team GL, but is this a Doubt castle? 83%, 85%. Wagons coming in from the other side. 91%, 92, 93. The villagers are still working away. Villese is desperately microing them down, and there's more villagers on the way. 95% on this castle. He still has the crossbows, and the castle will go up, but it's so many villagers lost from Viper. There goes the villager lead that he once had as he pushes in with the Hussite wagons from this side. Petards are coming out from this castle to deal with the castle from Villese. He is still not in the Imperial Age. Bah, there he is. Chemistry on the way from Viper, and he goes for more siege workshops to make more bombard cannons. Does not have access to this gold yet, though. Still has a little bit of gold left at home. over here. And that's about it. Villese's castle currently denying him from that. As Viper using the Hussite wagons as a little bit of a meat shield to protect his petards from the castle fire. Still, Villese setting up the trebs, taking out the siege workshops, so no bomber cannons from those. A trade cart on the way from Viper. And he's even set up the market in the corner. He's setting up the trade. And this castle's gonna go down, guys. Man. What is it about this matchup that Villese just shows up to play? I know he's got Chinese here, but still, I mean, he's played so well this game. Viper's definitely not out of it, but he's still denying him off the gold access. And we see Viper right now with 0 on gold. He does have 2 relics, but he's forced to send all of his villagers out to the side. And Villese continues the push. Still has the crossbows to potentially deal with the halberdiers, but there are bombard cannons now on the field from Viper. He's going to need to make sure he saves those, because he doesn't have much gold left. It's going in! He needs gold! Villese pushing back on the other side. Treb's still working away. And bomber cannons, he's trying to save them. He is trying to save them. More villagers going down. Villese dodging the shots like an absolute pro here. With the crossbows, the no move micro there was huge. And Viper just can't land a shot on these things. However, he does have skirms to help push them back now. Trebuchets have cleared the siege workshops. They might start on the production buildings, but I think Villese is going to send them over to this side to try and clear this castle. He's trying to get some techs behind this. He wants Arbalest and Light Cav. And there's the Arbalest tech right there. Thumbring and Chemistry also on the way as he lays down more farms. He should probably start thinking about raids with the Light Cav and Viper. Well, he's still got a hole. One tiny little hole into his base. And he doesn't have Sanctity for his villagers, which actually could matter. A little bit less susceptible to the raids if you get Sanctity. Still, with Handcart and Fervor, these vills are going to be super quick. So they can run away if needed. Bombard cannons getting some great snipes against the Arbalest, and Villese realizes he needs the backup of these trebs. Maybe start targeting those bomber cannons with his trebs. This is going to become difficult for Villese. He's going to have to make a like 4 composition army, 4 unit composition army. And he's going to have the Light Cav constantly raiding at the back. The Arbalest constantly microing at the front. And defensive buildings on the sides as well to make this work. Because he doesn't have access to the bomber cannons, which are absolutely going to dominate in this situation, especially if Viper gets Ufnitsa. That's good, though. Setting up 4 trebs on this side. Viper doesn't have anything to deal with that, and he's going to have to shift his bomber cannons over. Villese will see that, so maybe potential for some snipes. He's coming out here with the Arbalest. Packing up the trebs now after taking out the TC. He's going to lose at least one of those, but it's only going to be one. 187 population for Villese. Viper with 177, and now he's getting help. He's getting his bomber cannon numbers up, and he has access to... I mean, that gold is saturated. Holy. That gold is going to disappear quick. And that might be Ufnitsa shortly. All of that gold. Big shots there. from the bombard cannons. Trying to get shots on the clumped up Arbalest, but Villese has had some good micro so far. Avoiding that. Still, it's only a matter of time, right? So many bombard cannons from Viper. And it just feels like the Chinese have to work twice as hard in this Civ matchup. And they're going to have to go into like multiple different types of units. Tukanu, Skirmisher, Light Cav, Arbalest, Treb. There's some good snipes though. One goes down. Viper needs to retreat. Still no counter raids from Villese. Feels like he could be going into Cavalier here. I don't know why he's so hard committed onto the Light Cav. I really think he could be going Cavalier, which would be much better for the raids, much better against the skirms, much better against the bombard cannons. He has plenty of gold in the bank, right? Nice snipes here on the bomber cannons. Doesn't quite get it. One hit away from death. And the final armor upgrade coming in for the skirms. More light cav on the way from Villese. We'd love to see more production buildings, and he's being sneaky with it. He's coming over here with the trebs while Viper is fully focused on this side, and he's going to try and snipe down this castle. I think the trebs made the long loop all the way around to get himself into this position. Light Cav getting some villager kills over on the side, but Viper's still at a very healthy villager population. And Viper's doing a phenomenal job with his units. Look at how conservative he's playing with the halbs and the skirmishers right beside the bomber cannons. He's keeping his bomber cannon mass alive, and Villese is trying to take terrible trades to go for those. But that comes at a cost, right? And the cost is that Viper didn't notice this until it was happening. He's going to have to invest all of his stone into repairing this castle, and the castle will stay alive, because he has a bazillion villagers repairing it. But it's bought Villese some time on this side, and his trebs are going to continue taking out the production buildings. Good response from Viper, though. Takes out the trebs in the north. And he can kind of focus on getting the Hufnitsa upgrade, which is probably what he wants eventually. Still, his food eco is struggling behind this. And Chukanu have been snuck in as well into the eco. Double castle set up here, but every farm that Villese denies is less food available for upgrades from Viper. As Siege Engineers is on the way. Light Cav coming in for the bomber cannons. Please make some Cavalier, my guy. Oh, that split was so clutch. That split was unbelievably clutch. Imagine those shots hit. Chukanu's still at the back, getting some kills. And it's Viper's turn to start pressuring this castle. And that castle's going to go down, right? Treb and bomber cannons attacking it. Not enough villagers repairing. Villese is sending more. Now it's only one Treb because he's pushed the bomber cannons away. He can save this castle. He can save the castle, and he's taking out the Treb. And it's two castle holds on this side. One from Viper and one from Villese. Guys are putting on a showcase for us right now, but he has 5,000 gold. Make Cavalier! Oh, 6 shots from Viper. Make Onager. Make something that costs gold. You're at the limit for food. Stop making light cav. 3 bomber cannons down. Make it 4. Make it 5. All gone. All the bomber cannons gone from Viper. Trebs are still over at this angle. Viper is looping over here with villagers, and he's coming out to this stone, and he's actually sending units around. Maybe thinking about raiding Villese's eco. That's not very good. Who said they liked this corner? Ooh, big shots from the Mangonel, maybe. Big shot! Boom! Lots of damage. Cavalier died at like one poke of the Bohemian. Yeah, but if the Cavalier died that quickly, how quickly are the Light Cav dying? The Cavalier might at least tank 3 hits. The Light Cav die after 2. Sanctity is now in, which will also benefit the villagers from Viper. Viper is running out of gold, guys. Remember we were talking about this gold pile, how saturated that was, and how long it's going to last? It didn't last very long at all. And the Trebs are still working away. Villese needs to be careful with these bomber cannons. I think he sees it, and he should be in a position to snipe it with the Arbalest, and he's chasing them again. Viper running out of stone, doesn't have enough villagers to keep repairing this, and the castle goes down. Villese has to work so hard for this win against Bohemians. He has 5,000 gold. And Viper, well, he still has 600 gold in the bank currently. He's only got 3 tiles left. However, he still has the population lead. So the production needs to keep up from Villese on this, and needs to keep his eye on this gold as well. Thank you, Akaro. Welcome. Thanks for being here, bro. Appreciate it. Dude, this is a really solid game. Viper has been managing his bomber cannons and specifically his skirms and his halberdiers very well, as he now tries to take control of this gold over here. But Villese has been up to the task, and he's kept the Arbalest number up to snipe the bombard cannons. He's kept the halberdiers distracted at the back here with the constant raids, and it's almost in a situation where, ooh, where is the wood coming from Viper? It's almost at a situation where Villese can focus on wood a little bit now. My man might be running out of wood. He's still got this clump here. He's still got clumps over here, but these are kind of exposed. And this one's kind of exposed on the side, too. And Villese is pushing out over on this side. Viper is all in on this gold. Might want to see bombard towers here. That could be huge, right? Just to cut off this gold access. Definitely want to use your stone, though. Priority on the castle repair on this side. And don't give Viper access to any other gold. I don't think Villese got the tech for bombard tower yet. So he can't add it immediately. He does have 41 Arbalists now. Maybe that's too many at this stage. Might want to just, you know, send those in and try and snipe the bombard cannons. He is losing quite a few of those to the skirmishers, though, and he's already lost 11 of the 40 Arbalists he had. Still raiding the villagers on the sides. Viper now collecting wood over here. And still trying to push. The focus has shifted from the north now over to the southern castle, as Viper is collecting gold from a very precarious position in the center. He's going for spies. He could be at this rate. 7,000 gold in the bank. Oh my god, dude. Make Cavalier, please. God damn it, make it. Please. The castle's gonna die. And it does. He can buy himself enough stone, though, for a couple wonders worth of... couple wonders worth of stone he can buy currently. As Viper continues to get the gold, and Viper is not out of this yet, and Viper might be getting Hufnitsa soon, guys. Don't panic when Viper gets Hufnitsa. More farm eco coming from Villese. Can't quite keep up the spam of the light cav. Why he's not making Cavalier, I have no idea. Champions are an option as well, yeah. But that's a long switch, and it doesn't have the mobility of Cavalry. Once again, just barely dodging the shots from these bombard cannons, and Hufnitsa's on the way. Oh no, dude. Oh no. Light cav are raiding on the sides. Viper is down to 115 villagers. Food count really struggling for him. But look at this army. Look at how conservatively he's playing with these units. Villese unable to get close enough to snipe the bombard cannons. He's setting up the trebs, but Viper is sniping those down. 6,300 gold in the bank, and it feels like there's nothing he can do. Make Cavalier. Please. Man, Viper is crazy with it, isn't he? Treb's now targeting the bomber cannons to get one. He gets another one with the Arbalest. Hufnitsa is coming in. There's only 3 bomber cannons on the field currently. Targeting the Trebs, and he gets it. Another Treb being targeted. Castle is being repaired, but only by 1 villager right now. He's focusing the repairs on the Trebs instead. Does he manage to save the castle? Not likely. It's still up. It's still up. It's still up. It's not up. It's down. Oh, no. Oh, no. Viper is pushing out, and Viper's found himself some more wood access down here. Villese is going to be tracking that with the light cav. He's now housed. He's still controlling this middle area, but struggling to find options against the skirmishers. And the halberdiers. Cavalier! We need something different. Oh, big shots coming in from the Ufnitsa. These should be free as well. Boom! The siege workshop goes down. Wood Eco is stalled out, but right now Viper is at 200 population. He's somehow made this pushback. Viper is absolutely incredible. He just played so patient here. So patient. He held onto that castle long enough just to suck the juice out of all of that gold over there. And then he shifts over to this gold. And he's able to take the middle. And now Villese is in a position where he's just going to have to raid the sides. Treb is working away on the town center, and maybe Viper can run out of wood. I mean, we're not in a situation where Villese is going to run out of gold anytime soon. My man still has 7k gold. This game isn't over, guys. At least it shouldn't be. We need more stables from Villese, more archer ranges for him to replace the ones he lost. More raids on the sides could be massive. Viper is going to be struggling for wood. We just need more production buildings. Oof, what happened here? Yikes. 150 population for Villese. 6,000 gold for him. Finding a Treb over on the side. More ranges coming in. We need champions or cavalier or something along those lines. Right now, the light cav just don't seem to be cutting it. Elite Hussite wagon, even on the way from Viper, now that he has almost infinite amount of gold accessible to him. Still struggling a little bit with wood control, though, right? He's all in chopping on this one wood line. Villese is going for an outpost over here. And I think he's starting to realize that wood might be an issue for his opponent. A bit of a lull in the battle on the middle, and it's 42 Arbalists in the queue, and my man still has 6,200 gold. The Cavaliers die just as fast to the Halb under the castles. Yeah, but they get extra damage on their hits when they Hufnitsa. And they do a lot more against the villagers when they're raiding. They survive longer underneath these castles as well. Still pushing. He's got 0 on gold. But he still has 5,800 right now. And he's still looking for villager kills. Elite Hussite Wagon is in. Don't worry, they have one melee armor now. Still really struggle against Light Cav though. As another castle goes down from Villese, that's his last castle, folks. So he no longer has the ability to make future trebuchets unless he buys himself a castle. And Viper should be perfectly comfortable from this position. He's going for another town center on the wood up here. He's going to secure the wood down here. He knows exactly what he needs to do. He can even buy stones for stone walls all the way to the center. How much for 100 stone? I don't think it's that much. We can check. 195. It's not that much. As it stands right now, this is just a slow march to the destruction. And there's the 3 relics being popped out of that monastery. Viper now starting with the raids. And Viper with an incredible comeback. Villese calls the GG. It wasn't easy, that's for sure. It definitely wasn't easy, but he got the job done. Fumble of the century. I don't think you understand how difficult it is to play that matchup with Chinese. Against Bomber Cannon. And against someone like Viper who's going to keep 60 military sitting around his Bomber Cannons protecting them. However, I think Cavalier was needed. I really do. You have so much gold. It's slightly more effective at raiding, at killing Hufnitsa, and it takes more damage from Viper's units. There's no downside to it. There is no way that Cavalier is worse than Light Cav unless you're talking about the matchup versus Monks. Cavalier are 100 champions? Yeah, maybe. The champions are a bit different because Viper can mix in hand cannons. And you don't really have the barracks already placed to spam the champions, but you had the Cavalier potential. Anyway, I mean, that's just Viper in a nutshell, right? Crazy. Look at that gold for Villese. Wood more collected for Viper, though. Food more for Villese, and that's a brutal loss to take. Could Onager have been the play? I think with that amount of gold, maybe you spam Onager, and Viper's going to snipe down 90% of them with his bomber cannons, but you're going to get that one shot that turns the tide, right? Could be a play. Who knows? You just have to mix it up. After the Light Cav and the Arbalist aren't working for like 3 straight minutes, I feel like you just have to try something else. All right, so we're going on to Land Madness. We have Romans for Viper. We have Magyars for Villese. Thank you for being here, everyone. Thank you for the follows as well. Appreciate all of you. Game is on already. I know, I'm in the spec countdown, dude. Come on now. Come on, Golem. You know better than that. Here we go. Game number 4. We saw this exact same Civ matchup in Warlords Waiting Room Finals between Viper and Tato. Tato was the Romans. Viper was the Magyars. And Tato put a lot of pressure onto Viper early. And then he went for 2 forward siege workshops in response to the Cav Archer spam. And he managed to win. So we'll see if Viper goes for the same strategy. We'll see if Villese decides to go heavy into Cav Archers once he gets to the Castle Age. We'll see if either player even gets to the Castle Age. Could finish the game before that. Looking at the maps here, we have a decent map for Villese. He's got a close wood here. He's got a back gold. Berries are kind of far away from his opponent. Looks quite appealing. Viper also has a decent map. 2 backwoods, back gold. Berries at the back here, secondary berries. And the main berry is quite close to his TC. Does Villese have a secondary berry patch? No. It's all the way over here. Saw that in the Sato game against Brawls yesterday, where Sato had one really close to his TC. Dave can check my secondary. Okay. Corner check. I don't mind that. You can actually fully wall this in. That's funny. This corner is better than the first corner. That is an L corner right there. That one's kind of lame. That one's interesting. Top corner is on fire. I like this corner the best. I don't know what it is, but I like it. Tetris corner, true. How is it interesting? It just is, all right? Shut up. Shut up. Loom coming in. For Viper. And he's about to be up. 19 population. Villese is up at 19 population himself. 0 seconds of idle TC time for both. Both of them continue to push in the Ibex. Chief, thank you for another 5, bro. That's 60 on the day. Kind of crazy. Would Land Madness be better if you couldn't wall to the edges? We saw that in Titans League. It was an adjustment made after a set between Nikov and Vinchester, which resulted in one of the campiest wall into 5 TC Land Madness games we've ever seen. And the games were pretty good after that, actually. However, in Warlords, we haven't really seen much of the full walling to the edge. Seen it a little bit, but it's usually in the mid game. It's not super early, and players aren't playing fast castle off of it. When will we be getting post-aim corner checks? We've done that sometimes. We've done that sometimes when I'm bored. Not today, though. All right. Scout coming forward from both. The scout from Villese will be a little bit stronger than the scout from Viper, because he gets forging right away. And he's not able to deny the stable, but he's able to delay it a little bit. However, it takes a couple hits from the TC, which actually could matter. Stable for both. Spearman coming out from Villese. His Spearman should be favored early because of forging. But if Viper gets the blacksmith upgrade, his Spearman will benefit from the double armor. And he is going scouts. Yo, Cupid, thank you for the gift sub to Wayne Gretzky, the great one. He gifted a sub to the great one. Nice. I doubt that's actually him, though. I doubt that is actually the real Wayne Gretzky. It is? He loves AoE? Oh, cool. We can already see the walling potential here from Villese, and Viper is going to try and snipe this villager. He's not going to get it. You can already see what he wants to do, right? He wants to wall out here and then go for a palisade wall all the way to the edge of the map, then securing this gold. And then he can kind of protect himself on this side. I don't think Viper's going to let that happen, though. Yeah, he's got more scouts just kind of patrolling around this area. So, when we saw Yo play with the Romans against Magyars, he went scouts. I forget who he was playing against. Might have been like Sato or someone. Can't remember the specific players. He went scouts and just kind of relied on his 5% extra eco to carry him through against Magyars. Magyars have the cheaper scouts, but Romans have the better eco. And then, of course, later on in the transitionary period, between Feudal Age and Castle Age, he actually got a blacksmith down and got the infantry upgrades, which counted for double for his spearmen, making them incredibly difficult for the opponent's scouts or skirmishers to kill them. And he was able to protect himself long enough to get up to Castle Age. It was Yo versus Hera. That's right. That's the set he won against Hera. And Yo managed to win with Roman scouts against Magyar scouts. Speaking of scout numbers, 5 for Villese, 6 for Viper. And Villese scouts are pretty low HP. Viper scouts, pretty healthy still. Better economy for Viper, no surprise there. 5% gather rate on everything. And you can already see it affecting. 200 total res collected ahead. As Villese goes into the archer range, he's going to have to make some more spearmen as well, but he's not going for it. Already has 4, and he's decided that that's probably enough. Viper, will he go for the blacksmith? Yep, and that's the first that's the first upgrade that should come in. The armor. Normally, the armor only gives +1. Melee and pierce, but it's going to give +2 for the Romans. And it's going to make it difficult for Villese to deal with that. He also needs to make sure that this is walled. Should be able to see that. Should be able to stop this. And there we go. Rewall behind. I don't get why Wayne Gretzky would use his real name. I mean, I'm LeBron James, and I don't think people would leave me alone if I used my real name. Yeah, life's tough, hey, Lars? He is a fake Lars after all, that's right. Archers are here from Villese, but the archers are going to be doing less damage against the spearmen because of the +2 armor. So it's a lot more difficult to clear up these spearmen, which means it's more difficult to pounce on this army with your scouts because the spearmen are still alive despite the fact that you have archers behind, which should be able to theoretically kill these much faster. Forging now on the way for Viper, and he hasn't lost any of his scouts. He hasn't even really taken any hits on his scouts. And Villese now with the archers and the spearmen in defense feels pretty comfortable, and he's going to take a little trip over to Viper's economy. But he can't dive on these spearmen with his scouts like one normally might be able to because of the extra armor. Romans just seem super solid here. Once again, Viper ahead by 500 resources collected already. And there hasn't been a villager kill. There hasn't been significant idle TC time. Bloodline's on the way for Viper. Does not have the armor yet. But he has killed 2 scouts, and Villese is in trouble here, folks. Big trouble. He's going to be able to clear up the spearmen, but what is he going to do against the scouts? And the archers in the middle of that fight. Viper is going to go for a full clear here. Viper is going to completely clear the army. I think from Villese. He takes out all of the archers. He does have bloodlines now in, and his spearmen are going to win the battle against the spearmen from Villese. And then he will carry his eco advantage forward into a faster castle age time. There's the market right there. 22 farms. Retreats with the scouts, and he's done enough to hold this army away from his base. He's not really going to take any damage in the feudal age, and the market is going up from Villese, but I think the food eco is way more solid from Viper currently. Bro, it's 11-11. Yeah, one player is going to be faster, though, to the castle age. Viper goes for a tower. Also a tower on here, so he didn't use his gold to buy food. He went for towers instead. And it's actually going to be Villese that will click up first, maybe. That did not go the way that I expected. Archers being dealt with by the spearmen. Viper's secure. Villese is up first, but Viper is coming in with the scouts. And once again, there's another hole. Spearman should be good to deal with this. And he rewalls that. Why the towers, though? I don't know. It feels like you could have dealt with this with just your military, right? Or just even your spearmen. Exhibit A. Viper has 2 more vills. He does. Stable coming up from Viper. And let's see if Villese plays into Cav Archers. He's not really the guy you think of when you're thinking about Cav Archers. Can't remember the last time I saw him play into them. But he is playing as the Magyars. And the temptation is there with the faster production. Never seen Villese go CA? Me neither. At least I can't remember it. I'm sure I've seen it before, but I can't remember it. He is getting bloodlines, however. And he hasn't gotten the cavalry armor, so it's probably CA. Only has 1 range, though. Is it just 3 TC? Doesn't have any stone? There we go. There's the second range. A little bit late. Still, faster production will be good. And Cav Archers, where are they? He gets Pikeman upgrade instead and then goes for the Cav Archer upgrade. Viper will get that +2 armor right away, and he fully understands the assignment. He knows he's going to be up against Cav Archers, and we'll see if he decides to go forward with Siege Workshops as well. Just like Tato did. He's still ahead on eco, right? He's over 1,000 extra res collected. He will go for another TC. As Villese loops around with the archers, and that tower is actually really going to help him now. He'll also be looking for kills on the Cav Archers as the light Cav upgrade is in, and the +2 armor is in too. Knights coming out here to deal with the spearmen. Knights will be able to deal with the archers. Viper even walling that in twice. Save him. Huh. First villager kill of the game in the most unexpected fashion. Very avoidable there from Viper, but yeah, I don't think he's going to mind that one so much as he comes over here onto the wood line. That tree still has 94 wood left on it, so no overchop potential there. And Viper would just dive onto these pikemen and clear them up. Just fine. Bye-bye, pikemen. Bye-bye. Is that just 60 wood on Lost Gates? I don't know if he killed them. I think he might have. So maybe it was. Light Cav in. Oh, +2 armor on these things. Villagers can't really engage against these. Villese is going to have to run away from the gold, and he's going to be losing villagers. And you can see he's kind of at the limit for resources right now. That's 3 villagers dead. Now 4. And Villese will be making his way over here, but the tower seems like a super good idea from Viper as he manages to save at least some of his villagers. Still has villagers exposed back here, though, and Villese is going to find at least a couple more kills. Eco KD is 4-4, 5-4, 6-4, 7-4. He's making up the difference of those 2 additional TCs, but Viper will just casually add a 4th. Villese just now going for his 2nd. And we'll see if he can get the damage done with the Cav Archers. Still no siege workshops here from Viper for Scorpions. Right now he's just getting the job done with +2 knights. And Villese needs to meet up with all of his Cav Archers and needs to really make sure that he doesn't lose any of these guys. You need that mass up to like 25, 30 Cav Archers as soon as possible. And Viper, even just picking off a couple of those is going to super delay that. Light Cav's still roaming around as well. And that tree is a lot closer to be chopped than it was initially. Viper may be seeing that tree and he's like, yeah, I'll come back in 14 wood. I'll come back in 14 wood and I'll add a siege workshop and I'm going to go into scorpions most likely. $16 cav archers only for Villese. Still collecting gold back here, but there's not that much gold to be had as he now comes around this side. And we'll try a TC over here, but the knights are over here, guys. And Viper knows that if he attacks on both sides, he's likely to find damage. However, Villese is also coming in. Viper still has the tower there. He notices the raid, and Villese unable to get that villager. Also has a scorpion in defense now. He's trying to push in from the back of Villese's base, and I don't think the Finn has noticed this. He's paying attention to this attack. Paying attention to his army forward. And eventually, if you're paying attention to 3 different areas at once, you're going to slip up somewhere. Lets the knights in. Pikemen are going to go down. Villagers are going to go down. Cav archers going to be whittled away. And with the +2 armor, these cav archers and TCs aren't doing that much damage to the knights. He did manage to snipe another villager, though. However, he might run into scorpion shots on this side if he's not careful. And he's going to lose a monk, and he's going to lose more units. And this is looking so good for Viper. 18 villagers ahead now. More scorpions coming out. And a 5th town center for the snake. Credit to Villese. I mean, only 34 seconds of idle TC time this entire game is pretty impressive, but there's really no potential for victory here for him, is there? With the Scorpions out now, with the 4 TCs, with Viper almost having enough stone for a castle and seeing a very clear castle spot opportunity up here. Don't know if Villese can make this happen. Viper idle TC time. Give him a break, man. He's got 5 TCs, all right? You would have eons of idle TC time if you were him. Literally eons. I don't even think you'd be able to understand the amount of idle TC time you'd have. I love the scorpion sound. Can you click it a little more often? GG. Well played from Viper. Thanks. You're welcome. Viper takes that one 3-1. He looks really solid. I think Villese looked pretty strong in this set as well. The arena game in particular, the Gold Rush game, the opening was as close to perfect as you can get. This one was tough. This one was definitely a little bit rough, but he's getting back into the swing of things. Villese took a couple months off of Age of Empires 2. Titans League, he didn't look that great because of it, and it feels like he's just getting warmed up again. Still a really, really solid player, though, and Viper is Viper, so we'll hope for the best for Villese in his next set. He did end up beating Jordan in the first set. We will have Jordan next against freaking Andy. As we see the resources here from Viper, super solid. Castle time there, a little bit better from Villese. So close. That's the 3-1. Bye-bye. Thanks for casting. See you later, dude. Freaking Andy against Jordan coming up next. Been live for 5 hours already. It's not going to be as long of a day as yesterday. It was 9 hours yesterday.